Here we're asked to sketch the graph of this function, this rational function, indicating the equations of asymptotes and any axes intercepts. In order to sketch this graph, we first of all need to find those asymptotes and axis intercepts. So we're going to start by finding the vertical asymptote. The vertical asymptote is when the denominator, in this case 2x plus 6, is equal to 0. That is, x is equal to -3 is our vertical asymptote. The horizontal asymptote is what happens as x tends to infinity. So as x gets really, really big. Now as x gets really, really big here, we get 3x minus 8 over 2x plus 6. Now what happens to this? Well, as x gets really massive, this minus 8 doesn't really matter. Now think of it like this. If x is a billion, we have 3 billion and 8. 3 billion and 8, the 8 doesn't really make much difference to the size of that number. A trillion, 3 trillion and 8, or minus 8, that 8 doesn't really make that much of a difference to the size of that number. And a trillion is tiny compared to infinity. So as x tends to infinity, this thing on top gets closer and closer to 3x. Similarly, on the bottom, when x is a billion, we have 2 billion and 6. That 6 doesn't make much of a difference. 2 trillion and 6, that 6 makes even less of a difference. So as x gets closer and closer to infinity, that 6 becomes inconsequential. We just get left with 2x. It tends towards 3x over 2x, which is just 3 over 2. So our horizontal asymptote here is 3 over 2. Now on to the axes intercepts, our y-intercept, which is when x is equal to 0. We get y is minus 8 over 6, or minus 4 over 3. So we've got 0 minus 4/3 as our y-intercept. And the roots are when y is equal to 0. So 0 is equal to 3x minus 8 over 2x plus 6. But for a fraction to be equal to 0, the numerator must be equal to 0, which means we're going to get x is equal to 8/3, or our root is 8/3, 0. Now that we've got all that information, we can actually sketch this graph. Start by putting in our axes. And then the next thing is to plot our asymptotes. So our vertical asymptote was x equals -3. That's going to come up somewhere around about here. Our horizontal asymptote was at 3 over 2. So y equals 3 over 2. Going to come somewhere through here. Plot our axis intercept. Our y-intercept was minus 4/3. That's about here. And 8/3. Sorry, no, that was our y-intercept, wasn't it? Sorry, minus 4/3. It was minus 4/3 was our y-intercept. So somewhere down here, minus 4/3. Our x-intercept is 8/3. So somewhere like that. Now we draw our rational function through those 2 points and approaching the asymptote there. Not forgetting that this is a rational function, so there is another part to this which is in the opposite quadrant of the asymptotes. So it's going to do something like that on that side. And there we have our rational function sketched.